Guys, in this video, I'm just going to work out all of the problems on your practice test. I would suggest you try to do the practice test from scratch, just based on your work from the week, and then you use this if you get stuck and to check your answers. Okay, so I'm going to go probably pretty quickly because I think you already know how to do this. Let's see. First, solve by factoring. So, to get the x squared, we need an x times an x. Now we're looking for two numbers that multiply to a positive 18 and add to a positive 9. So it would be positive 6 and positive 3. Then set each group equal to 0. This group will equal 0 when x equals negative 6. This group will equal 0 when x equals negative 3. And we're done. Number 2. Same type of problem. To get an a squared, I need an a times an a. Now I need two numbers that multiply to a positive 5, but add to a negative 6. Remember, if this last number is positive, the signs have to be the same. And this negative here tells me they're both going to be negative. So two numbers that multiply to positive 5 and add to negative 6 are going to be 5 and 1. Then set each group equal to 0. This will equal 0 when a is 5. This will equal 0 when a is 1. Number 3. To get an x squared, it's x times x. Two numbers that multiply to a negative 42, so the signs are different, but they add to a negative 1. So it'll be 6 and 7. But remember, the bigger number gets this sign. So negative 7, positive 6. And please, please, please check that with your calculator. Don't make silly mistakes. By now, we've been doing this for a long time. It has to multiply to negative 42, add to negative 1. Set this guy equal to 0, you get x is 7. Set this guy equal to 0, you get x is negative 6. Number 4. To get the b squared, it's b times b. Two numbers that multiply to a negative 40, so the signs are different. They add to a positive 3. Different signs, adds to 3, adds or subtracts to a 3. And that's going to be 8 and 5. And I think adds or subtracts, but the real thing is I need it to multiply to a negative, so the signs are different, but add to a positive 3. So it's positive 8, negative 5. Set the first group equal to 0, you get b equals negative 8. Set the next group equal to 0, you get b equals 5. Okay, now moving on to the more challenging ones. This one tells you to complete the square, but even if it didn't, you can't solve this one by factoring because you can't come up with two numbers that multiply to negative 59. So we're going to have to do this one by completing the square. So first, move the 59 over to the other side, which is going to make that a positive 59 when you move it over to the other side. Okay, so I have now x squared plus 12x, leave some space, is equal to 59. Complete the square. It's half of this number squared. Half of 12 is 6. 6 squared is 36. Add 36 to both sides. The whole point of that is this should now be factorable, and it will factor into a perfect square. So x times x will give me the x squared. And two numbers that multiply to a positive 36 and add to a positive 12 will be 6 and 6. And as I've said a few times now, you don't have to write that step that I just did. You can skip straight to x plus 6 quantity squared. Bring down my equal sign, and over here, 59 plus 36 is 95. Now, to get rid of this square, we have to square root both sides. The square and square root cancel each other out. So x plus 6 equals plus or minus the square root of 95. And now I need to subtract 6 on both sides to get x by itself. Or just move it to the other side and change the sign. So my final answer is going to be x equals negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 95. Now 95, I got to check that, see if I can break that down. 95, I know I can divide by 5. But 95 divided by 5 is 19, and I can't break that down any further. So that one's done. Okay, and that's it. The rest of them are pretty much the same exact thing. I'll go ahead and work them out for you in case you want to check them off. Okay, move the 66 over by adding 66 to both sides. So v squared minus 6v, leave some space, is equal to 66. Complete the square. Half of 6 is 3, and 3 squared is 9. Add 9 to both sides. Factor. Find two numbers that multiply to a positive 9 and add to a negative 6. And that would be negative 3 and negative 3. So that's v minus 3 quantity squared. On the right side, add this up, and you get 75. Undo the square. Square root both sides. So v minus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 75. Add 3 to both sides to get v by itself. So v equals positive 3 plus or minus the square root of 75. However, 75, I am certain 75 can be broken down. 75 is the same as 25 times 3. And the square root of 25 is 5. So it would come out of the radical. So I'm going to rewrite the square root of 75 as 5 root 3. So now my final answer is 3 plus or minus 5 root 3. And that is as bad as it can get, which is not that bad, I don't think. All right, two more. Here I go. Move the 19 over. X squared. Oops, what'd I just do? Okay. X squared minus 6x. Move the 29 to, oopsies, I'm working out the wrong problem, aren't I? Hold on. Time out. Pause. All right, I'm back. Sometimes I hit buttons I don't mean to hit. All right, so first thing I got to do is move that 19 over. So x squared plus 12x is going to equal positive 19 on the other side. Okay? Complete the square. Half of 12 is 6, and 6 squared is 36. Add 36 to both sides. Factor. This will now be a perfect square. Two numbers that multiply to 36 but add to 12, and they'll be 6 and 6. Which means, again, you can skip that step. That's the same as x plus 6 squared. That's why we call it completing the square. On the right side, bring down your equal sign and add up 19 and 36, which is 55. Next, undo the square by square rooting both sides. So x plus 6 equals plus or minus the square root of 55. Move the 6 to the other side, which will make it a negative. So x equals negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 55. And 55 is the same as 5 times 11, but neither of those can be square rooted, so we're done. Last one. Okay, this feels very much just like the last one. Feels a little redundant to me, so I wouldn't judge you if you didn't do all of this practice test. Well, actually, I think I assigned the whole thing, and it's not optional this time. So you kind of have to. Sorry, but I'm doing it too. Whatever. Move the 29 over. Here we go. X squared minus 6x is going to equal a 29 positive on the right side. Complete the square. Half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. Add 9 to both sides. Factor. Two numbers that multiply to a positive 9 but add to a negative 6. Negative 3 and negative 3. So it's x minus 3 squared. Bring down the equal sign and add these guys up. 29 plus 9 is 38. Take the square root of both sides to get rid of that square. There we go. So square and square root cancel each other out, and x minus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 38. And let's see, 38 can be divided by 2, but I get 2 and 19. I won't be able to break that down. Okay, not that I'm there yet anyway. Move the 3 over, add 3 to both sides, and you get final answer. X equals positive 3 plus or minus the square root of 38. Okay, so hopefully you did well. Good luck on your quiz tomorrow. And you're allowed to have your notes right next to you. So hopefully you don't feel too stressed. Hope you guys are doing all right. Please let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Bye.